Pope Francis, who is a well-respected leader of the Catholic Church, often talks about Christian teachings, and recently he talked about the arrival of the Antichrist. He shared that the evil force is among us. But the question is, in what form Antichrist is here? Is the Antichrist a political leader, a crafty alien, or something else? The Bible describes the arrival of the Antichrist, and the Pope connects those biblical prophecies and theories about the Antichrist with today's world. So let's dive into the video to know the mystery of the Antichrist that has intrigued scholars and believers for centuries. The religious leader theory. The Antichrist theory suggests that the Antichrist could be a religious leader, a complex aspect of the study of end times called eschatology. This idea has made people wary of religious figures, drawing from interpretations of Bible verses. In 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 and 4, Apostle Paul talks about a lawless figure opposing God's, interpreted by some as the Antichrist, a religious leader with sinful tendencies. Apostle John warns of antichrists in 1 John chapter 2 verses 18 to 22, people denying Jesus as Christ, contributing to the notion of a charismatic Antichrist, diverting from traditional Christian beliefs. In Matthew 24, Jesus warns of false prophets deceiving even the elect, setting the stage for the idea of an Antichrist using religious charisma. This concept connects to discussions about the end times, the second coming of Christ, and biblical prophecies, with scholars offering diverse perspectives throughout history. Political leader theory. The second theory suggests that the Antichrist might be a political leader, adding complexity to Christian end times interpretations. This idea explores the notion that a political leader could engage in interfaith diplomacy, presenting unity while subtly undermining core religious beliefs aligning with Bible warnings about false prophets. Throughout history, figures like Pope Innocent, Napoleon Bonaparte, and Adolf Hitler have been viewed as potential antichrists due to their political influence. In the book of Daniel, chapter 8 describes a powerful political leader causing destruction, possibly the Antichrist. Other chapters depict beasts, rulers, and a boastful horn connecting to the Antichrist as a charismatic religious or political figure. Apostle Paul's warning in 1 Timothy about deceiving spirits contributes to the broader idea of deception and departure from true faith, often linked to a political figure leading people astray. Though not explicitly mentioning the Antichrist, this passage highlights the themes of deception and spiritual divergence associated with political leaders in end times scenarios. Rebuilding of Roman Empire theory. Another theory about the Antichrist involves the rebuilding of the Roman Empire. This idea doesn't come directly from religious texts, but is based on historical, geopolitical, and cultural analysis. It suggests that a powerful and charismatic world leader, seen as the Antichrist, could emerge to restore a global power similar to the ancient Roman Empire. The Roman Empire was known for its huge influence and strength, but collapsed over time. The theory imagines a leader, the Antichrist, who aims to bring back a form of global dominance like the Romans had. This could involve political alliances, economic influence, or even a centralized world government. In today's context, Rome is often seen as a symbol of power, governance, and cultural influence. The theory proposes that the Antichrist might rebuild aspects of the Roman Empire, either symbolically or physically, to consolidate global authority. This could include using modern tools like economic alliances, digital communication, and political influence. The idea is that the Antichrist would be strategic in politics, forming alliances, manipulating international dynamics, and using crises to advance their agenda. Economic power is seen as a crucial tool in this theory, with the Antichrist controlling global systems through trade agreements and financial institutions. Technology and communication advancements are also considered important, with the Antichrist using them for surveillance, control, and manipulation to create a tightly regulated global order. Apostate church leader. There's another well-known theory that the Antichrist might come from within the church as a leader who turns away from the true faith. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus warned about false prophets who may look harmless but are actually dangerous. This sets the stage for the idea that a deceitful leader could arise within the church, pretending to be a faithful shepherd while having harmful intentions. In Jesus' teachings about the end times, he mentioned false prophets leading many astray. This aligns with the thought that the Antichrist might not be an external enemy, but could come from within the church, using religious authority to deceive believers. The Apostle Peter also warned about false prophets and teachers bringing destructive teachings, adding to the idea of internal corruption within the church. These references contribute to the theory that the Antichrist could emerge as an apostate church leader before becoming a political figure. This idea emphasizes the dangers of spiritual deception and the importance of discernment within Christian communities. Besides being a real human, these theories raise questions about what other forms the Antichrist has been predicted to take. Next is the rich billionaire theory. The rich billionaire Antichrist theory is a way some people interpret the Bible. They believe the Antichrist will be a very rich person with a lot of power in the world. This theory connects certain Bible verses to the lifestyle of wealthy individuals. One key idea is that the Antichrist will be charming and able to bring people together under his influence. This idea comes from the belief that a wealthy and powerful person can easily control public opinion and gather a large following. It's important to be careful when looking at these interpretations because different people can understand Bible prophecies in different ways. The idea of a wealthy Antichrist is just one of many interpretations. One verse often talked about in this context is Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 and 18. It says that the rich billionaire Antichrist will force everyone, big or small, rich or poor, free or enslaved, to have a mark on their right hand or forehead. This mark is said to be the name of the beast or the number of his name, which is 666. The Bible suggests that understanding this requires wisdom and insight. When supporters of this theory look at other Bible passages, they see connections to the characteristics of a wealthy and powerful person taking on the role of the Antichrist. Some verses focus on the idea that the Antichrist will try to change established norms and laws, possibly using their wealth and influence to reshape society. However, many scholars and religious leaders warn against trying to identify the Antichrist too specifically. They say that apocalyptic literature in the Bible often uses symbols and metaphors, and it's not always meant to be taken literally. Alien deception theory. Some propose a unique theory, saying that the Antichrist is an extraterrestrial being, injecting a sci-fi twist into end-time scenarios. In this imaginative tale, the Antichrist uses advanced alien tech to blend into humanity, shape-shifting and creating illusions. It goes beyond appearances. The alien Antichrist may have mind control, manipulating individuals and global events, turning humanity into cosmic pawns. This grand deception isn't local but global. World leaders, celebrities, and influential figures unknowingly follow the alien in human disguise. The Antichrist performs in the physical realm and the spiritual, posing as an enlightened figure offering alternative paths to salvation. The narrative unfolds with humanity discovering an evil extraterrestrial force manipulating history. This prompts deep reflections on identity, trust, and good versus evil. The scenario challenges our understanding of humanity's vulnerability and the blurred lines between the known and unknown. In this tale, people may unwittingly worship the alien, thinking it's human, only to later realize it's the Antichrist. Rooted in speculative thought, this vivid image suggests advanced extraterrestrial beings using technology and charisma to lead humanity astray. The alien could perform miracles, gain adoration, and introduce innovations, causing a gradual crisis of faith among its followers. This scenario explores charismatic leadership, technological power, and human vulnerability, sparking contemplation on belief and the consequences of blind devotion. Last is the spirit of the Antichrist. The spirit of Antichrist theory is a theological idea that goes beyond specific Bible verses. It suggests that the spirit of the Antichrist opposes the principles of Christ and isn't tied to just one person, but can show up in different forms and ideas. This concept has been around in Christian thinking for a long time, focusing on the subtler ways evil and opposition to Christ can influence people. The spirit of the Antichrist is seen as a force that subtly affects individuals, societies, and ideologies opposing Christian values. It involves denying or distorting core Christian beliefs, like the divinity of Christ and the authority of biblical teachings. This spirit can be present in ideologies that actively go against Christianity or in moral contradictions that go against Christian ethics. In modern discussions, The spirit of Antichrist theory is applied to things like the secularization of societies, the rise of atheistic ideas, and changes in traditional moral values. Some use it to analyze cultural shifts and political movements that challenge Christian principles. However, critics argue that it can be too broad and subjective, making it challenging to identify clearly in different situations. Also, Pope Francis mentioned the Antichrist, cautioning everyone to be aware of signs that might indicate its presence in various places like parks, schools, or even churches. This theory allows believers to stay vigilant against influences that go against Christian principles. In Christian beliefs about the end of the world, the Antichrist is a person or group of people mentioned in the Bible. They are said to be against Jesus Christ and pretend to be like him before Jesus returns. The word Antichrist is found in the New Testament 4 times, specifically in the first and second epistle of John. It's associated with those who deny God the Father and Jesus the Son. In the Gospels of Matthew and Mark, Jesus warns his followers not to be fooled by false prophets who will claim to be the Christ and do impressive things. These imposters are sometimes called false Christs. There are a few different images connected to the Antichrist in the Bible, like the little horn in Daniel's vision, the man of sin in Paul the Apostle's writing to the Thessalonians, and the beast of the sea in the book of Revelation. These are all complex ideas, but they're basically about people or forces that go against Jesus and his teachings. But what are the theories suggesting the arrival of the Antichrist? Here they are. The rich billionaire theory. The rich billionaire theory suggests that the Antichrist will be a super rich and powerful person. This Antichrist would use their massive wealth to control governments and global systems. This theory is based on some Bible verses. First, there's a beast with 10 horns and 7 heads that people think symbolizes different nations or powerful groups. In this theory, the Antichrist, being a rich billionaire, could control these structures. They might lead a big global company or be a powerful political figure connected to many countries. The beast has power over everyone, and people worship it because of its strength. This shows how much influence and control this wealthy person could have in modern society. The theory says their enormous wealth could help them shape people's opinions, control the media, and even influence political leaders. Next, there's talk about economic control. It says the second beast gives everyone a special mark for buying or selling things. In the rich billionaire theory, this could mean the Antichrist's ability to control global money. They might be in charge of international finance or important technologies. This would let them make rules about money that suit their plans. The apostate church leader theory. There is a belief that the Antichrist could emerge from the Christian church, albeit in a distorted manner. This leader may adopt a corrupted form of Christianity, deviating from crucial beliefs. This notion draws inspiration from Bible passages that discuss individuals abandoning their faith in the latter days, such as 1 Timothy chapter 4, verses 1 to 2. According to these passages, some individuals may turn away from genuine Christian teachings and follow a misleading path, potentially setting the stage for the emergence of an Antichrist figure from within the Christian community. The alien deception theory. Some people also believe that the devil will use deception, making the Antichrist appear as an alien from another planet. This theory is based on the idea that the Antichrist will use supernatural powers to trick people, as mentioned in the Bible in passages like Matthew chapter 24, verse 24, and 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 11, which warn of powerful lies and fake miracles in the end times. Throughout history, there have been stories of earthly people interacting with beings from other worlds, found in cultures like the Sumerians. These tales suggest that these otherworldly beings shared advanced knowledge with humans. Now imagine if an alien arrived on Earth. People would be amazed and might even worship them, like how some idolize celebrities today. This alien could claim to have all the answers, solving our problems and explaining the Earth's origins, which could convince many, including churchgoers, to follow them. The question of how the Earth began still puzzles us, and if an alien claimed to explain it, they might gain billions of followers. The religious leader theory. Certain beliefs suggest that the Antichrist could be a religious figure. According to this theory, the Antichrist might use deceptive acts and supernatural signs to establish a worldwide religion. This notion is linked to a biblical concept that discusses the idea of spiritual deception, wherein the Antichrist could deceive people through his religious influence and purported miracles. This perspective envisions the Antichrist as a charismatic religious leader who misguides followers through seemingly miraculous acts. The political leader theory. This theory suggests that the Antichrist will emerge as a powerful global political leader capable of uniting nations under a single government. Initially, he promises peace and prosperity, but ultimately steers people away from their faith in God. This concept aligns with biblical passages like Daniel chapter 7, verses 23 to 25. In Daniel chapter 7, verses 23 to 25, there is mention of a distinct fourth kingdom that will dominate the entire world. This could symbolize the Antichrist's rule over a global government. The verse also alludes to this kingdom's forceful or diplomatic control over many nations. Daniel chapter 7, verse 24 adds that 10 kings emerge from this kingdom, with the Antichrist standing out as more powerful and even removing 3 of these kings. This underscores his unique leadership qualities, which might stem from his charisma or political prowess. Lastly, Daniel chapter 7, verse 25 predicts that the Antichrist will oppose God, oppress religious believers, and seek to alter laws and customs. This implies an attempt to divert worship from God to himself and reshape societal norms in alignment with his own beliefs. Overall, this theory portrays the Antichrist as a charismatic political leader who leads people away from their true faith. It has led to speculations about various prominent political figures potentially being the Antichrist whenever they rise to power, creating a recurring theme in discussions surrounding the Antichrist. Finally, Spirit of the Antichrist theory. Some theories today also suggest that the Antichrist could be connected to advanced technology and artificial intelligence. These ideas focus on how this Antichrist-like figure might deceive and control people, similar to what's described in the Book of Revelation. Now let's talk about the Antichrist. He hasn't appeared on the world stage yet, but his influence is already here. We need to be alert and wise, recognizing the signs and safeguarding ourselves from his impact. The Bible warns us about the Antichrist in 1 John chapter 4, verse 3, saying that anyone who doesn't acknowledge Jesus isn't from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, and it's already active in the world. If we observe our world today, we can see it moving in a particular direction, with signs that the spirit of the Antichrist is becoming more visible. We must recognize these signs and stay true to God's teachings. One evident sign of the Antichrist's influence is the rise of secularism and the rejection of God's moral values. People are becoming more self-centered, prioritizing their desires and often disregarding the well-being of others. This self-centered attitude goes against Jesus' teachings of love and selflessness. The Antichrist spirit thrives in a world that values human desires over God's plan and righteousness. The spirit of the Antichrist is already at work in our world today. The Apostle John mentioned the Antichrist and how there would be precursors leading up to his arrival, all influenced by the same spirit. Just as believers can be filled with the Holy Spirit, some people can be influenced by the spirit of the Antichrist. We can see a decline in reverence for Jesus Christ and increased anti-God sentiments in society. This is reflected in growing lawlessness, a trend that's becoming more evident over time. For example, in the past, you could find Bibles in American classrooms and UK hotel rooms. But now, Bibles are disappearing from public spaces, and the fear of God is declining globally. All of this is paving the way for the arrival of the Antichrist. People sometimes think that when the Antichrist comes, he'll have to make significant changes to the world. But that's not necessarily the case. When he does arrive, the world will already be prepared for him. The spirit of the Antichrist is working in the world, leading to a decline in the fear of God. This shift is a sign of the times, as Jesus mentioned in the Bible. What do you think of these theories suggesting that the Antichrist has arrived? Comment below your views and subscribe for more such videos.